Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope all is well. My name is Laeeq, and I'd like to express to all the listeners out there of how I became Muslim by just name to an actual Muslim, so to say. Because a Muslim, by definition, is one who submits himself to the one and true God. So for me, if you're not submitting yourself, then what would you call yourself? So this is my story of how I've became into the position where I am and the mindset that I am in now. The story starts when I was a very young child. I was basically in grade R. My mind was not like the children in my class. They couldn't comprehend the thoughts that I had in my mind. I was questioning everything. I was asking so many questions. They didn't understand me. I started asking adults questions. They also, some of them couldn't answer my questions, right? And perhaps maybe I was too young to understand, or they thought I was too young to understand, but I wanted to know, right? As I grew up, I went to madrasa, I went to and I learned everything about how to be a Muslim, and that I started trying to practice because I thought, okay, I'm a Muslim, I need to do these things, right? After a while, I started being influenced by the wrong friends because I was the type of person to not really judge someone, right? I wouldn't look at you and judge you from what someone else said, the type of person you are. I would be in your presence regardless of the type of person you were. Your character was your character, and I accepted that. That was the type of person that you were, right? And so then I started adapting to the people around me. It started becoming a major influence to me, right? As after grade, after well, during my course of high school, I started pulling away from Islam, right? Slowly but surely, I started coming a bit off the path. Yeah, eventually I stopped making my salahs. I became a Jum'ah and a Ramadan Muslim. Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala did not take those things away from me. Right? So then after high school, for about half a year, I was struggling to look for a job. Then I met my one friend, and he was working on construction. I told him, listen, yeah, I need a job. I'm bored. I have nothing to do at home. I don't know what I want to study. I don't know what to do. So he gave me some advice, right? To me, this was the beginning of my whole change, right? But it's a long change. He gave me advice. He told me that I should go make two rakats in the middle of the night. Make two rakats salah in the middle of the night. It's called tahajjud salah. And then I must cry on my musla and ask Allah Ta'ala for whatever I want, and I will get it. And so then and he also told me that I should not use an alarm or anything. I should just naturally wake up, because that is when Allah Ta'ala is calling you. Come make salah. Come ask me for what you want. So then I made this two rakat salah, and then I cried, I wept. I was like, Ya Allah, give me a job that will be beneficial to me and that I would choose to study further. That was my first dua that was accepted, because 2 weeks after that, miraculously, I got a job out of nowhere. A phone call came to me from my aunt saying that somebody at her husband's workshop was looking for guys to work with him. Right? Cut a long story short, I started learning how to do the trade by what I consider the best technician that there is, right, in the trade that he does. I mean, I've worked with a few people, and I've never seen perfection like what he does, right? I've learned his trade. So he let me learn how to do the things, and and so then the first time I installed something, I enjoyed it, I loved it. And so then I decided to study electricity. I went into studying that because I wanted to understand how it works. Then I found that is when I realized that my dua was accepted. Halfway through the year of my studies, I was like, hey, this was my dua accepted. I met a guy at the campus, and so then he started questioning me about Islam. He asked me, if I'm Muslim, why do I do this? Why do I do that? Aren't you supposed to follow your religion? Why are you not doing this and that? And so then I started thinking, yeah, I need to come back on the path. So then um, I started practicing my religion a bit more, practicing it, but I wasn't really sincere about it. I was doing it because I knew I had to, but I didn't realize why I had to do it. I just knew that I had to because I was Muslim. So I slowly went off the path again. Allah. Yeah, and so then as it went on, I decided I completed my studies at that campus, and so I had to go to another campus to complete the other half of my studies. Right? And so then I decided, okay, I'm going to start making salah and ask Allah Ta'ala to help me through my studies, right? Because this is where where things are going to go down, right? Where the things are going to hit the fan, so to say. So I started making dua, I asked Allah Ta'ala for guidance. Every time I made salah, I asked Allah Ta'ala for guidance, because that for me was the main thing. Ask for guidance and you will be guided, right? And so then so many things were happening, and so then I met this one woman on the campus. I thought she was Muslim because her character and everything was that of Islam. To me, it was amazing, right? And so then she told me that she's not Muslim, and I was like, what? How can a woman that is not Muslim be more Muslim than what I am? And so then I was like, whoa, I need to get myself together, man. And so then I started researching on Islam, right, more about Islam, so that I can give her answers when she asked me questions, because she was interested in accepting Islam. Right? She just wasn't ready yet. So every time she asked me a question, I'd tell her, listen, I'm going to go do my research and come back. Right? Meanwhile, I'm always making dua. I'm asking Allah Ta'ala to guide me, to guide me, to guide me. I make salah because I was like, okay, I need to get my 5 times a day salah in. So I started making my salah, but I was still not on the right path. I was just making my salah thinking, okay, this is what is going to get me to Jannah at least, not for the bare minimum. So then I met this other guy who was also in my class at the campus. After the exams, I decided to chill with him. He invited me to his car so we can chill. So then I went to sit in his car and chill, and I found this book that was on his dashboard. It was a little pink book, right? And so I asked him, what is this book? And so I was like, it's because it was pink. And so then he said, it's the Bible. So immediately I put it down. I was like, whoa, I can't touch this. So then I thought back, but wait, us Muslims, we're supposed to um, know the revelations of what was brought by the prophets before us, which was Musa, which was Moses, and Nabi Isa, which was Jesus, peace be upon them all. Right? And so I decided to ask him what is in this Bible. Right? So he started telling me what is in the Bible, and so I was like, whoa, but this is very similar to what Islam teaches, right? And so then I decided, okay, I'm going to do some research, right? And so then I thought, okay, he says that Islam, I mean, all Christians say that Christianity is the right religion. The Muslims say that that Islam is the right religion, and I suppose the Jews say the same thing, and so do the Hindus and the Buddhists. They say that their religion is the right religion. So I decided, okay, I'm going to take myself out of the mindset and put myself on a neutral platform so that I can study all of these things altogether, so that I can get a bigger picture, right? To see which religion is actually the correct religion, right? So then I studied Christianity, I studied Judaism, I studied Buddhism, I studied Hinduism, I even studied the mythologies. I took that as a proper religion because people did believe in them back then. So I mean, even though it's an ancient belief system, it's a religion nonetheless, right? I studied the pyramids, I studied all of it. I started studying everything, right? And so I I came to a conclusion, and I started like looking through these things and whatnot. And then I thought, hey, but all of these basically teach Islam, right? The key fundamental, the key starting point of all these religions is Islam. So then I was like, okay, Islam has to be the righteous religion, right? And so then I started making my 5 times a day salah, even more and even more and even more, asking Allah Ta'ala to guide me, to guide me, to guide me. The next year I come back to campus. There's this one lecturer, he's against Muslims and he's against Islam, and he was like totally anti-Muslim, and he was also a bit of a racist. But yeah. And so then, because I increased my knowledge so much about my deen and also about a bit of Christianity, I decided, okay, I'm going to he decided to challenge me on Islam, about my belief. He asked me questions, right? And I had an answer for him. I asked him questions, he couldn't answer me. He asked me questions, I had an answer for him. He just couldn't understand how I had an answer for every question, because I've learned a lot of things from the Quran. Right, Alhamdulillah, it's a book of knowledge. You're gonna get all the knowledge that you need from it. Right, and he just couldn't understand it. And then I asked him questions like, why do you believe this? But the Bible does not say this, but you're telling me that you believe in that, but why? And so then that was where my mind was tested a lot, because he told me things that would test my mind a lot. And then the other guy also that I met at the campus, he also tested me a lot with his iman. And But before all that, my main change that happened, right? When I met those two people, that woman uh, that was more Muslim than I was, and the other guy that showed me the Bible. In between both of them, there was another guy that I met. I wasn't even in his class, and he decided he wants to study with me, right? Because he felt like I was a good person to study with. Something drew him towards me. So I accepted him, right? Open arms, because I didn't judge anybody. I just said, okay, yeah, we can study together. So he came to my house every night during Ramadan to study. And so then every time we studied, he would play something of Mufti Menk or Dr. Zakir Naik or some lecture, and then we'd listen to it while we study. Because it was in the month of Ramadan, he wanted to keep the iman boosted. Through that, I noticed a whole other story of Islam, and that was actually the key point when I started wanting to study it even more and even more and even more. Okay, back to where we are now. Um, yeah, so now this lecturer, he was questioning me and that, and so I needed to understand Islam even more. I wanted to know everything, right? And so then I thought, okay, um, every prophet brought a miracle, right? I mean, uh, Nabi Musa split the water, and he did many other miracles. Nabi Isa, he raised the dead, he walked on water, and he did many other miracles, right? And Nabi Muhammad, he split the moon, he had water that poured out of his fingertips, and he could feed a lot of people with a basket. But we don't even really take that into account. The thing we take most into account is the Quran. So I wanted to understand, why is the Quran such a great miracle, right? So I started doing my research on the Quran. I found out that there is a mathematical harmony within the Quran. It was amazing. It was like I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. I found the perfect poetic structure of the Quran. I started understanding a language a little bit more. And I was like, yo, this book is just unbelievable. Right? I mean, everything is just perfect. And Quran also starts off with a very strong point. It says, this is a book within which there is no doubt. For something to start off like that, to me, that was like very strong, man. Like, be so confident to start or something like that, that there is no doubt within this book. And so I was like, no, this must be from God, right? That is what strengthened my mind even more. Right? So that is basically how I came onto this path. Then I started um, trying to practice my religion and do everything that I can. I jumped into the deep end of the ocean, and I was basically drowning in my own religion because everything was being thrown at me. Right? Everything, I'm telling you. Uh, I feel like I should have taken it step by step by step. But through that jumping into the deep end, every dua that I made got accepted right in front of my very eyes. And for me, that was like undeniable truth. Right? I mean, I just make 2 rak'ats on the musla. As soon as I get up and I walk out of my door, the answer comes towards me. And it was just like amazing, man. And I was like, yo, this is miracles from Allah Ta'ala coming straight towards me. This happened through my entire process, from many experiences. I just make dua. I'm like, Ya Allah, give me an answer to this. I need an answer. And I just walk out of my door, or I switch on the radio or something, and the answer just comes to me. And it's like, yeah, amazing. Yeah, so my advice to people would be, right, to Muslims and non-Muslims alike. Not the non-Muslims. All the non-Muslims, I would say, go do your research and understand what Islam is, right? Understand what your religion tells you, and you will see that your religion brings you towards Islam. There's no other teachings besides Islam. There are some things that contradict each other within the texts, right, of itself. But I mean, if you remove all those contradictions, you will see that the key foundation and basis of it is Islam. And for the Muslims out there as well, seek knowledge, do your 5 times a day salah, and read the Quran. Right, the Quran is most important. I'd say if your children is born, from the day your child is born, drill the Quran in their head. Right? For me, that is the best advice that I can give anybody. Drill the Quran in their head, understand who Allah Ta'ala is, understand the authority that Allah Ta'ala has above us. Right? Because we are so small. Imagine an atom, right? Allah Ta'ala has created that which is smaller than an atom. And now think of everything in this world. It's like we are so small. We are barely an atom compared to the vastness of this universe. And think of our universe as compared to the galaxy out there. Our galaxy is not our universe is such a small thing, and there are many galaxies, and Allah Ta'ala is in control of all of it, keeping everything in perfect order. I mean, just look at everything in its perfect order, right? I mean, if you look at your fingertips, it has a spiral thing. Everything that everything that Allah Ta'ala creates has this perfect order. It's like I can't even explain. Just go do the research and you'll see. Your eyes will be opened, your mind will expand, and you'll see the world in a different light. And Allah Ta'ala guide and protect us through this journey. And Allah Ta'ala guide and protect you. Because I know Allah Ta'ala is guiding you. The fact that you've listened through this entire audio and you're actually getting to the end of this, you have been guided, and Allah Ta'ala is telling you, come towards me and seek guidance and ask for forgiveness. Because Allah Ta'ala forgives all sins. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.